Okay. So next, so we can write a function and we can reuse the same function again and again. Okay. So we can write a function, the same function, we can use it and we can call it again and again. Whenever we want, we can easily call. So if you're returning a function and if you're not calling it, so it's a waste. Means the function never ever executes. You're just defining a function as it is. Okay, you're just defining it, you're not calling anyway. So it's a waste called dead code. Okay, dead code. So we're not using it, you can remove it. So until unless I'm not calling a function, the function will not execute. Okay, so this is a feature of the function. Okay, next. So we have some set of rules while creating a function name. Again, so we're going to follow the developer convention like camel case while creating a function name. And as we already seen, so how the variable we are going to declare. So the same way, the functions. Okay, so we have some set of rules. Okay, it should not start with numbers again, and it should not be result keywords. The function name should not take by the result keyword, and it should not contain any special characters. So in variables, I can use dollars and underscore, but here only underscore is possible. So even dollars is not allowable if I creating a function name. Next, so we have seen only first type of function called function declaration. So you're familiar with the function syntax. Okay. So there are two ways. So one a function with parameters, one the function without parameters. So without parameters means just we have a function that will execute and will some print it. That's it. Or it will do some operation like it will do some code executions. So there it doesn't expect any parameters. So it's a simple function. Okay, but function with parameters also is there. So if you want to use the same function and again, so with the different inputs, so there we are using parameters. Okay, parameters are the nothing but an input to the function. They are input. Okay, they are like variables. Basically, they are variables. They are input to the function. These parameters I can able to only access inside this function, not outside anywhere in the function. So these parameters are only for input to the function. Okay, so so if you have a three parameters, definitely need to pass three arguments. Okay, so definitely you need to pass a three arguments. So this is about function. So next function without key written keyword we have seen, right? But when it comes to with written keyword, so what does exactly does? So when I call a function, okay, with some arguments and parameters, so we have to do some calculations. Once we calculation, so we have to put a return keyword. So what does return keyword exactly does? So return keyword, so returns the result or anything you want, or it might not return anything also. Okay, so where I'm calling the function calling, where does the function call is happening? At that place, it returns the result or anything, either true or false, or it might not return anything else. Okay, so this is a use of return keyword. Why we use return keywords? So if you want to use a multiple functions, so whenever I do some calculations, I want to get some result from another function. So there majorly we will use return keywords. Okay, so we already seen this one, right? So this function are designed for to cut the fruits into four parts, basically. Okay, so every time when I get in parameters apples and oranges, so when I call a fruit processor function, I will pass apple and oranges separately as an input to this function cut fruit. So each fruit will be cut into four parts. Okay, then it gives the result. So that's the reason we are using a return keyword. Okay, so this is how the return keyword is works. Next, nested functions. So while working with nested functions, make sure so it's a function inside another function. The inside function. whatever the function we written should be called inside of the first function only, always. Okay, it should be called inside only. See, if you call outside it, so it will not work. So first you need to call the outside. So then followed by the nested function, the function which is kept inside another function. It should be called inside another function only. Okay, so this is all about nested function. So till now we have discussed here. So we'll continue now.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So the second type of function we called function expression. Function expression. So before writing a function expression, so let me say one example. Now tell me what is it? What exactly it is?
It's a variable we have declared.
Yes, it's a declaration, right? We have declared a variable. So we have a variable num. So which is we are using a keyword let. So variable is num and values 10, right? It's a declaration. That's it. A variable declaration. Okay. So don't you think it's an expression also? That's one of the expression, right? Means it's a variable, it's a value. The same goes for here also. See, so I have a function. Okay. So I have a function. Let add is equal to. So the syntax wise like so we have a function, but we don't have a function name here. So this is like syntax. Okay. See, let see variable name is equal to we have a function keyword. We have a function keyword followed by parentheses. So we don't have function name. So that's the reason this function is called function expression or anonymous function. What is anonymous? So which doesn't have any name. Anonymous function. Okay, so function expression or anonymous function. So let variable name as well as function. We have function keyword followed by parenthesis next function body. Here the same as it is. How to be executed. Okay, now we need to call the function, right? So how to call this function? We don't have function name. So how are you going to call this function now? Yeah, I don't have a name. See, I have print console log. Hello. How to call this function? Any idea?
By variable name?
Yes, we need to call it by variable name. That's it. So we need to call it by variable name. So such type of functions we called function expression or anonymous function.
And why we use these kind of functions?
Yeah. Okay. See, we in JavaScript, so we have one thing called first class function. So in advanced class, I will explain. So we need to pass a function to the argument to another function. Okay, since we are treating as a function as a values, so like kind, such kind, so we can pass this function to another function and we can return it. Okay, you'll see the major usage while working with callback functions. Okay.
Oh,
Okay, so yes, we have a real usage. Okay, so it really helps you to lot work within first class functions, higher order functions. On the time with the function expression is compulsory. Okay, it's all about anonymous function. Let me write some sentence. JavaScript allows to assign function to a variable and then use that variable as a function. Is called function expression. Okay. So we have modified function without any name. Okay, is unnamed function is called anonymous function. Okay. So why we use anonymous function? Okay. So this function expression, anonymous function is useful in passing callback function. So I'll come back to this callback functions in advanced classes. There you'll see the usage of this anonymous function. Callback function, creating closures. Okay. Or IAFE, immediately mode function expression. We'll see all these things in advanced classes. There we're using anonymous function. Okay, so if you have some parameters, so I don't want to write like these things. Let add is equal to observe. So have a function followed by num1 and num2. So you can write return keyword also. Return keyword works exactly same as works in function declaration. So num1 plus num2. Okay, how to call this function? Add. So 10 comma 15. Okay, we have to call the function by variable name. Okay, so followed by the arguments. So now tell me. So yes, it's returning, right? I want to capture it. I can capture inside the console.log. Inside the console log. Okay, we're getting 25. Addition of 10 and 15. Any doubts here?
IIM. What is the meaning?
Immediately invoked function expression. So it's also one of the kind of function. So while working with advanced classes, advanced JavaScript classes, so I will come back to these features.
Okay, thank you.
Callback function, closures, what is closure and what is iffy, why do we use iffy? Okay, so we'll come back to these are all advanced method, advanced functions. Okay, we'll see in future. Okay, there you'll see the most useful case of is anonymous type of functions.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so why I'm taking a phase by phase is right, guys. So each topics have some clue in from the next topics. Okay, like so we need a relationship, proper relationship. Okay, so the thing is like, so the other tutor, what they're gonna do is like they're gonna explain everything in a function in one class. No, they should not done, because if I explain everything in one instance only, you will not get to understand. So basically, if you want to understand the closure, the knowledge you know till have is not sufficient. Okay, the knowledge still you don't have any sufficient that much of knowledge. Okay, so in order to understand closure properly, first, how the JavaScript executes this code, you need to understand what exactly is happening inside the JavaScript engine. Each and every line is how it's been designed inside the JavaScript engine and how it's organized and how it executes. So then only you can answer this question. This is one of the most asked interview question. Okay, 90% of the people can't able to explain. People will try to mug up the definition. Likely they're gonna mug up the definition. Okay, but in order to understand this one, you need to understand what exactly the code executes. The JavaScript engine inside our browser, inside our Chrome browser, how does it exactly works? So then only you can easily explain closure. Okay, so that's the reason we'll go one by one. Next. So another type of function called arrow function. Actually, you'll see this function heavily rather than any other functions, because it's easy to write, and so we have a separate set of statement for this only. So it's completely different than all other functions, arrow functions. Okay, so you'll definitely in an interview they'll ask a question, but I'll come back while working with this keyword on the time, so you'll see the difference. But till today, understand as it is. Okay, what is this arrow function? First, I will write the syntax. How does it looks like? Next, I'll explain. Syntax. So again, this type of function we can able to assign to a variable as we have done here. The same way. Let or const or var, it's up to you. So we have a variable name equals. See, for arrow function, we never ever use a function keyword also. Okay, we have some special syntax. What is the syntax? Parenthesis followed by arrow. It's an arrow symbol. Okay, equals angle brackets. Okay, so left hand angle bracket. Okay, equals followed by curly braces. You should like these things. Here insertion code to be executed. So how to call this function in that case? This is special syntax.
Variable name.
Again, we have to call through variable name always. Okay, if you have a parameters, parameter 1, parameter 2, etc., etc. So you have to pass argument 1, argument 2, okay, etc., etc. You can pass it as much as arguments. Okay, so let's see how does it works. So const add to numbers with a variable name. See, special syntax, parenthesis followed by arrow. We called arrow. So curly braces. Understood, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So add numbers. So I'm expecting two parameters, num1, comma, num2. So it should return num1 plus num2. Now tell me how to call this one. Inside console.log, I'm capturing it. Add two numbers. Okay, so here I'll pass 10 and 20. We get the 30. Okay, so one of the most useful case of arrow function is, right, guys? So how many lines of code we have inside the function body? How many lines of code we have, guys? Only one. Okay, so we have only one line of code. Okay, so it only works with arrow function. Don't try with another functions. Okay. So inside this arrow function, if you have only one line of code, that too, it's a return statement only. Only one line of code, only return statement. In that case, you no need to write this return keyword and no need to write this curly braces also. It's understood by the language. So you can write a simple expression. That's it. It will also works perfectly. Okay, make a note of this condition. That is only inside the function body. That is only one line of execution code. That line is only a return keyword only, a return statement only we have. So on that time, no need to mention return explicitly. So you can directly write it. So it's up to you. Okay, for being a beginner, practice this one. So once you get in, once you get hands-on on this all these ways, so you can remove this curly braces and return keyword. Understood, guys?
Clear, sir.
So this is all about arrow functions. Next.
It's almost same with the anonymous function. So
Yeah, it's almost same with anonymous function, but in anonymous function, we were using function keyword, right?
yeah, we were.
But here we are not at all using anything. When you don't have a function name or you don't have a function keyword also. Okay, we are using a special syntax like this thing. Understood?
Yes.
So we called a special syntax. It's called arrow. Does it looks like arrow?
Mhm.
Archery arrows. So the same way. Okay. So that's it. So arrow function. Now, so these are the three variations. Again, we have a lot of functions, guys. So we will see in advanced classes, not today. Okay. So we have a first class, higher order, callback, okay, IIFE, closures, and function methods. So we have a lot of things. Okay. We'll see later onwards. Now, I want to explain functions with the default parameters. default parameters. So I'm going to write a simple function declaration, the first type of function we learned. Okay. So this function, what does it does? Like addition only. Okay, so this function expects three parameters: num1, num2, and num3. Okay, this function expects three parameters: num1, num2, num3. Next, what does it return? So addition of all three numbers: num1, num2, num3. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to call this function. Otherwise, the function will not execute. So how many parameters we have totally?
Three.
Three.
Three, sir.
How many arguments I need to pass now?
Three.
Any argument object? Three. Guys, mute yourself. Okay. See how many arguments we need to pass? Three.
Three, sir.
Okay. So 10, 7. I have passed only 2. Now tell me what is the answer.
17. 17.
Okay, let's capture this answer inside the console.log. It's a NaN. Why? What's the value of num3? Let's check this one. So here I'll print all num1, num2, num3. Num1, num2, num3. See, num1, I am passing 10. Okay, yeah, I'm getting 10. Okay, num2, I'm passing 7. I am getting as a 7. But num3, did I pass any value for this num3 parameter?
No, sir.
No. If I define a variable, if I not assign any value, so what by default what does it takes?
Undefined.
Yes, it's always undefined, right? If I declare a variable and if not assign any value, it's an undefined. So undefined, so the addition will happen like this things. 10 plus 7, 17. 17 plus undefined is a NaN. Because undefined is not a type of a number, right? That's the reason it's providing a NaN final result. So NaN. So how to avoid such type of mistakes? So we want to avoid such type of mistakes. So how do you going to do these things? By assigning a default parameters. So here I will assign equals some default parameters 10 or not 10. I will give different number. So 5. Okay, now it's 22 because num1 is equal to whatever the value I'm passing here 10, it will take 10. Num2, I am whatever the value I'm passing 7, it will take 7. But num3, I am not passing what is the default value I'm providing here. So if you are not passing any value, it will take this default parameter value. Okay, it will always take a 5, num3. So it will do normal addition. So now if I pass a value for even third parameter also, now tell me which one will going to work? 3.
3. 3 will go.
Yes. So it is being replaced with the 3, right? Because if I'm not assigning any value for the parameter, then it will take the default value. If I'm passing a value, then it will directly considers the past value, like 3. Now it's 20. 10 plus 7 plus 3 is 20. Understood the default parameters? Yes. Okay, and you might ask, sir,
Sir.
any doubts? No? Okay, fine. So you might ask one question. So do we need to always pass a number? No, you can put in any expression also. See, you can put in 2 multiplied by 3. So what's 2 multiplied by 3? 6. Okay, so it's going to evaluate and it will take the final result. So if I'm not passing a value for the third parameter, so 10, 7, 6, right? So 17, 23, right? You'll get a 23. Num3 will take 6. It's going to do calculation and it will assign. And also you can do one more thing. You can pass num2 as well also. Observe. So what is num1? 10. Num2 is 7. So num3 by default, how is going to calculate? 2 times of num2. So 2 times of 7 is 14, right? Guys, it's 14. So observe.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
It becomes 10, 7, 14. Understood? So you can, but it's okay. See, if you're using any one of the parameters for this expression, it's okay, but it should define before you're using as an expression. See, now after defining num2, then only you can use it as an expression. Okay, so not vice versa, like this thing. It doesn't work because you're assigning an expression, one of the parameters is an expression, but that parameter should be declared beginning. So then only you can later use it. So see, it's been declared after, but I'm using it before, so it doesn't works. Okay, so make a note of its variations. Okay, now it works. So this is how the default parameters will going to work. Okay, so if you pass additional arguments, so no issue. See, so it's a wasted because I am using only 3 parameters. So I am passing 4th argument, no issue. Okay, so it's been excluded, the 4th one. So this is how it's going to work. This is all about default parameters. Okay, so that's all about functions for the first phase. Okay, so in the basics, the first functions, you should understand this much of functions.
So what if if we give only one argument and play with the parameters like declaring one by one, num1, num2, num3 like that?
Okay, you are passing only one parameter, one argument.
10 and num1, num2 is equal to num1 into num2 in that case.
Here num1. Next what? Num1
into some any number to 3.
Okay, 20. Num2 is equal to 20. Now num3.
Num3 is equal to num2 into 3. Fine.
Okay, so no matter. So first it's going to do evaluation and it will assign the values.
Okay, fine.
Okay. Any doubts remaining, guys?
No, sir.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop it here. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Otherwise, so it's completes here. Okay, so tomorrow we are going to discuss about document object model, DOM. So till now we have worked with only coding, right? So whatever the result I am getting here, I want to add it back to the HTML element. So we have an element, paragraph. Okay. So how do you gonna make an interact with the JavaScript and the HTML elements? So this is the way. How do we going to communicate? How to get a value from the HTML elements? Okay. How to send a value to the HTML element? So we'll see tomorrow. Okay, like these things. So we are already, I think you're already seen these things, right? So we have a paragraph. So first I want to select this paragraph using DOM selection methods like these things. So I want to print this value. Okay, I want to print this value. I don't want to print it here. So I want to print it in the DOM. So what are you going to do this thing? Document dot query selector paragraph dot inner HTML is equal to, I will call this function. See, I'm going to write result in the DOM. Or if you want to put it in H1 or H3 tags, some bold, or you can pass it as a bold. Like these things. Okay, how to communicate, how to interact with our JavaScript with our HTML elements. Basically, document object model. We'll see tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.